All right, you should all have a handout. I sent these via email last night, so you'll have a copy of this at home as well, and those on Zoom should have it. So this is my little cheat sheet to help us get through how to navigate these books. I don't know how many copies. All right, so the front page obviously is just a copy of the 3 books we're most likely to use: morning, evening, and midday. There is, as you all know, one additional book for the feast days and solemnities that's in a sort of a tan color, but it's going to follow the same pattern. So what we're going to do first of all is take all the ribbons and pull them out, okay? The ribbons are your best friends. So when you look at the instruction sheet and you start at the top, you will see Monday 21 weekday, page 10. Go to the chapter in the book that says Psalmody, the second chapter. Okay, so on Monday evening, yeah, weekday. Yeah, we're good. Page 10. Okay, so page 10. Put a ribbon on page 10. All right. Most of the prayer that we'll be praying follows from page 10. All right. Now, the next line, invitatory hymn, you'll either see a hymn number or BB and a number. If you see BB, it means the hymn is in the Breaking Bread book. If you see a hymn number, it means it's in the very first chapter of the book where it says hymn. Now, our Monday, we're going to the Breaking Bread hymnal. But let's say it's at hymn number 5. Then you just go to the chapter that says hymns, and you turn the page that's number 5, and that's where you put your ribbon for that day, okay? The next thing we're going to do, if we go back and look at the psalmody, look where you put your first ribbon. You see the Psalms, and you see Ephesians, the doxology, the antiphon, the reading, the response, the Magnificat antiphon, and then you see Magnificat. Okay? So when you see Magnificat and you look on the book or on the sheet, see, because all of this is in the psalmody, so you've already got that marked. You see Magnificat B. Go to the back to the chapter that says Gospel Canticles. And put your ribbon in Magnificat B. That's the Magnificat we'll be using. All right? Yours are all nodding, so I haven't screwed it up yet. Okay. Morning prayer follows the same pattern. Push your little button.
The Gospel Canticles.
Oh, no. Here we go. Magnificat B.
Magnificat B is the.
It's where it says Gospel Canticles.
Gospel Canticles. So,
correct.
Okay, and then it's the B one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So some of the terminology in the book doesn't follow the terminology on the sheet. And I think, oh yeah, okay, you can laugh, Sister Jean Marie. Right, you got lessons in this. Okay, so this is our lesson, all right? So now that's where the Magnificat is sung. You will do the same thing with the morning book. The only difference will be it will say Benedictus rather than Magnificat, but it will all be in the Gospel Canticles chapter. The evening prayer has one additional section. At the very end, we do the Marian anthem. So you will see at the bottom, this says, Hail, Holy Queen. Marian anthems. There's a special chapter that says Marian anthems. So you go to that section. It's only a few hymns. You find the one that says Hail, Holy Queen, which is actually Salve Regina. There's the Latin for Salve Regina, and at the bottom of the Salve Regina is the English version for Hail, Holy Queen. All right, so I know, Anne. It would be on page 249. So if you see page 248 says Salve Regina, at the end of that is the Hail, Holy Queen. And that's where you're going to put your last ribbon for the Marian anthem. It doesn't. That's what I'm telling you. The words on the sheet don't always correspond to the titles in the book. Okay? All right? Yep.
Okay, so. Because I've been trying to do this for years and I have.
We're going to get it done. We're gonna get...
Okay, so Psalms 135, 137, 120, do we go back canticle or response?
Okay, well, right now, I just want you to get the ribbons in place, and now we're going to go through the sequence, okay? So now you've got the ribbons in place. All right. With the ribbons in place, now we're going to take a quick walk through on your page 2. It's at, or I'm sorry, not 2, on page 3, halfway down, it says sequence for evening prayer. Okay? Well, you're not privileged. They're right here. Okay. And also on the, on the front here is a list of what chapters are in each of the books. So if you want to make a note, hymns and psalmody are pretty self-explanatory. Commons we're almost never going to use, so don't worry about it. Gospel antiphons, don't worry about. Gospel canticles will be the Magnificat and the Benedictus. Okay, so if you want to put that in parentheses next to it, Magnificat and Benedictus are found in the Gospel Canticles chapter. All right, now we start prayer. Yes, Kathleen, have to use the microphone.
Can you say that whole section again? I missed. I was helping
Okay,
someone.
all right.
I missed
So,
the whole thing. Sorry.
Look at you, that's fine. Look at your very front sheet. Okay. Next to the picture of the book, it lists the chapters that are in the book. So hymns is where we have our songs, unless it's in the Breaking Bread book, which the sheet will tell us. Then the psalmody is where the majority of the prayer is. Don't worry about the commons. It's almost never used. Don't worry about the gospel antiphons. The gospel canticles is where the Benedictus for morning and the Magnificat for evening are found. So that last section that we do. Okay. Oh, all right. Sister Mary Andre has a phone call. So it says canticles, but it's the Benedictus and the antiphon. And all you need to worry about in there is to match up the alphabetic number or alphabet letter of the Benedictus or the Magnificat that's on the sheet. Okay? Okay? And then, as I said, the evening prayer, we have the Marian anthem. So if we turn to page 3, and again, I'm doing evening prayer just because it has that one extra section with the Marian anthem. So we start out with the call to prayer. The sister leader will say, "Oh God, come to my assistance." We respond, "Oh Lord, make haste to help me." And then we do the doxology. All right. After that is the hymn. So your first ribbon or your Breaking Bread book is what you're going to use for the hymn. Then we get to the Psalms. That's where you go to your second ribbon. So that would be page 2. No, that wouldn't be page. It would be page 10. So page 10, we're going to start with the antiphon. So if you see page 10, week 1, Monday evening, we've had the call to prayer. We've had the hymn. We're doing the antiphon. Then we're going to start with the Psalms. So we have Psalm 135. And we have Psalm 137. And we have Psalm 120. And then we have what's listed on the sheet as a canticle. In your book, it will have a Bible passage, a citation to a Bible passage. That's the canticle. Okay. Don't ask me what it is with the word canticle. We want to use it a lot, but then we don't match it up to anything. That is a pay grade way above mine. And Sister Anita Louise is doing her presentation on the Liturgy of the Hours for us this spring. So that's when you can ask those really complicated questions like, why can't we just say canticle? I don't know. I'm just telling you the canticle will be a Bible citation. After that, we repeat the doxology, as it says in the book. We have an antiphon, then we have the reading, then we have the response, we have the Magnificat antiphon, and then we have the Magnificat, which is where we're going to go back to our ribbon on page 228, Magnificat B. In parentheses, Canticle of Mary. Again, don't know about the canticle thing. I don't know. Magnificat, all right? That's what that is. And then there's take over. There's a concluding prayer. There's the petitions of the faithful. Yes, sorry, Mel. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna come back with all of that stuff. So then there will be the prayer, the prayers of the faithful, then the necrology with the remembrance of members of the community or the federation who have died. And when we need to start paying attention is where when we hear the word, not that we aren't paying attention, sister, I want you to think we aren't enraptured, but when we hear the words, grant them eternal rest, O Lord, we respond and let perpetual light shine upon them. Then the prioress leads us in the Our Father. The leader concludes with, may the divine assistance remain always with us and with our community when we respond and with all of our brothers and sisters. Then we sit down and the prioress will read from the rule in the evening, not, oh, yeah, and I forgot the Marian prayer. The Marian prayer is in there after the Magnificat, sorry. No, it's not, is it? Where is it? Yes, okay. All right, so for the smaller bits and pieces that we need to know, Mel has a very good question. And the answer to Mel's very good question is that when you see the words next to the Psalms, where it says, this is our instruction on whether we're going to recite it or whether we're going to sing it. So if it says intoner all, it means that the intoner, the sister who's the intoner, will read, and we will all then read the next paragraph of the psalm, okay? Because we rotate right to left, right to left. All right, so if it says intoner all, we're all going to read every other section, and the intoner will read the alternates. If it says mode, it's going to be sung. We don't know the modes. The sisters know the modes. If you want to learn the modes, talk to one of the sister musicians, because I am not a musician. Sister Kathy Cash is happy to teach you the modes. Maybe in the spring, we're going to find some time for Sister Kathy to come in and teach us the various modes. If you are musically enough inclined that you can kind of follow along, go for it. If you're not, then just, read it silently to yourself. All right? Yes, Kathleen, use the microphone, please.
I kind of learned a trick. If you're sitting in the nearer pews to the sister, and you open up the drawer thing, sometimes you'll find the modes in there.
Yeah, there are some cards in the shelf on the back of the pews. Not all of them, but some of them do have the modes in there. Again, if you're musically inclined and that means something to you, go right ahead. Try to follow it. They're labeled and it'll tell you which mode is being used. Okay. If it just says recite, then it's going to alternate one side of the chapel to the other, but we're just reading it instead of singing it. All right. Now, there are some general helpful tips that I would like to share with you all. First is that these books were put together by our community. All right. So if you look at the very front of the book, it says the very last two words, compiled by the Liturgy of the Hours Task Force, May 2006, for the sole use of this community. So if you go to a different community on Monday, the 21st, there's a good chance they're not using this book. All right. I say that because it's important to realize these are copyrighted, and we've always had requests. People say, well, can I take one of these home? Can I buy one of these? And the answer is always no. And it has to do with copyright and all that. So if you have a copy of one of these books at home, I don't want to know about it. All right. Now, first and foremost, follow the cadence of the community. Okay, we're not reading, we're praying. So it's going to be slower. It's going to be a slightly different pace. So just follow the community. Always follow the community. When in doubt, don't pull out my sheet and says, well, this is what it says. Follow the community, because I'm guaranteeing you there will be a few exceptions in here, all right? Because there are a few changes, but not very often. When we do the doxology, whenever we're referencing the Trinity, we bow at the beginning when we first talk about our Father, and we stay bowed through the reference to the Holy Spirit, okay? And then you raise up. And that's true even in some of the antiphons. You will see the sisters bow. I'm not always as good at catching that. The doxology I get because we do that a lot. But if you see them bowing, then just bow. There is a 30-second pause after each complete psalm is read. And then there's a 1-minute pause after each reading. That is for meditation. So be thinking about what we just heard and what that means to you. At the conclusion of prayer, we should sit in quiet meditation for about 5 minutes, I think is the timeline. And that's after the prioress has read the rule in the evening prayer. We should not rise to leave before the prioress. Okay, just like at Mass, we don't leave before Father goes down the aisle. We shouldn't leave the chapel before the prioress. Now, I know people are going to say, well, I see sisters get up and leave. Well, you do see sisters get up and leave. Those sisters are on kitchen duty, and they have to come in and eat so that they can clean the kitchen. And if you want to leave, I'm not telling you can't leave, but don't be surprised if you end up with disinfectant in one hand and a dishcloth in the other. Just saying. All right, now, couple of cute things to know. At the very top of the page, Sister Kathy, if you could just scroll us up. There's some good information under the midday or the morning prayer section, okay? So it'll say choir right side. So you come walking in on a Tuesday night, you don't know which side is going to start the singing or the recitation. That tells you for that week. And it is the right side as you're sitting facing the altar. So if it says right, it's that side. If it says left, it's that side. Or as you're sitting here, right and left. Not easy to explain that when you're facing the opposite direction. Okay. We also know who the intoners, the prayer leaders, and the readers are going to be. And if we could just go up and over a little bit. Yeah, let's take it up a little bit. No, I'm sorry, I'm down. Yeah, the other direction. This up. The one that goes like this. Okay. Anyone have an idea what these initials are? The musician, correct. Okay, there's everything you need to know. I hope that's helpful. Maybe if we have time during sharing, we'll put this back up with a different day and you can practice, especially if you have a sister at the table, because they can give you directions.